index notation is what we're going to look at in this video. It's split into 8 parts. So we're going to start off by looking at, well, how do you write something like this in index notation? And then how do you work backwards and write that in full? How do you find the value of something like this and the power of 0? How do you multiply indices together? How do you divide indices together? Looking at indices written as fractions, and then indices with brackets like this, and then finally coming on to some harder stuff with a fraction that has both multiplication and division. So the way my videos work, I'm going to do the example on the left, which is I do. You are then going to press pause and have a go at the example on the right, which is you do. And at the bottom of the slide, we can see the type of example it is. So it says write the following using index notation. So all it's saying is how many 2's are there? There's 3. So this can be written as 2 to the power of 3. So hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at this. So this can be written as 3 would be the base number. And how many 3's are there? 4. So that's 3 to the power of 4. Now moving on, this is saying write the following in full form. So now we're just working backwards. So we know there's going to be 5 of these. 3, 4, 5. So that is the answer there. And again, hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at this. And that would be that. So here's some practice questions you to have a go at. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers. Now moving on, it says work out the value of 2 cubed. So we know that 2 cubed is just 2 times 2 times 2. The value of this, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. Now on the right, we have 4 squared, so that'll just be 4 times 4. And that is 16. And now we have 2 to the power of 1. Now going back to the previous one, we had 2 cubed was 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so 2 squared would be 2 times 2. So the power tells us how many 2's we're going to write. Okay, and with this question, it says 2 to the power of 1. So there's just 1 2. So the answer for this question is just 2. Okay, and again, on the right, the answer is just 1, 4. So now, with the powers of 0, it can be a little bit confusing. The answer here is 1. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. And I can just show you that on the calculator. So if I did 6 to the power of 0 and hit enter, you can see the answer is 1, okay? And in fact, if I did anything to the power of 0, like I said, oh, let me just type that again, 99 to the power of 0, it equals, that is 1, okay? So anything to the power of 0 will always give you 1. So here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers. So moving on, we are now looking at multiplying indices. Now, when you multiply indices, you just add them together. So we have 3 and 4. We add that together, 3 plus 4, and that gives us the answer of 7. Okay. Again, hopefully you've pressed pause and look at this example. So this will then become, well, 4. So we add the 2 together. So that's 5 plus 2. So the answer becomes 4 to the power of 7. So moving on. And now when the power is missing, so for example, the 8 here doesn't have a power, it's the same as having a power of 1, okay? So the answer here is going to be 1 plus 4, which just becomes 8 to the power of 5. And again, on the right, we can just write in the missing power, and that just becomes 3 to the power of 7. Here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers. Now we're looking at division. So now with division, you just subtract, okay? So in multiplication, we added, now we just subtract. So that will be 2 to the power of 5 minus 3, which then becomes 2 to the power of 2. And again, on the right, we're dividing now, so you just subtract the indices, so that's 5 minus 1, so that's 4 to the power of 4. And again here, the powers are missing, so remember, when there's no power given, it's just to the power of 1, so that's 3 to the power of 6 minus 1, which is 3 to the power of 5, and on the right, that will just be 5 to the power of 8 minus 1, which is 5 to the power of 7. And now, this might seem a little bit confusing because it's written as a fraction, but this is the exact same as writing this, okay? So the exact same rule applies. You are just going to subtract the 2 indices. So we are just going to do 4 to the power of 5 minus 3, and the answer is 4 squared. Again, on the right, it's the exact same thing. We just think of it as division, and we are going to subtract the indices. That is 5 cubed. And again, with this, the power is missing down here, so I'll add the power in, so that'll just become 7 to 5 minus 1, which is 7 to the power of 4, and then on the right, we're just subtracting, so it'll be 4 take away 0, so 6 to the power of 4 take away 0, and that's just 6 to the power of 4. So here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. Moving on to looking at brackets, so when you have something like this, all you do is that times that. So the answer here is going to be 5 to the power of 6. Now, if you're wondering why that works, what this question is saying is that there's 2 lots of 5 cubed. So I can write this like this. And you can see, if I did that, I would just add the 3 and 3. That'll give me the 6, okay? So again, hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at this. So all you're doing here is multiplying that and that. So that's 3 to the power of 8. So here's some practice questions. Press pause. Here are the answers. Now moving on, we are looking at slightly trickier stuff. So with this, I would do it in 2 steps. The first thing I would do is tidy this up. And what do I mean by tidy this up? Well, you know that when you multiply indices, you add them together. So we add the 3 and the 4. So that gives me 2 to the power of 3 plus 4 over 2 squared. So that becomes 2 to the power of 7 over 2 squared. And now, when you divide indices, you just subtract them. So we just do 7, take away 2. So if I bring that down here, that would just become 2 to the power of 7, take away 2, which is 2 to the power of 5. Okay? So we just do it in 2 steps. So again, hopefully you've pressed pause and go at this. Step 1, tidy the top up. So that's 5 plus 2, which is 7, over 4 cubed. So now it's tidied up. Now we just need to divide the indices. So we're subtracting them. So 7 take away 3, that'll give you 4. Moving on, it might look a little bit harder, but it's the exact same thing. Let's tidy the top up. So we're going to add the 5 and the 4. That's 9. We're going to add 3 and the 2. That's a 5. And now we're just dividing. So we're going to subtract the indices. So that's 9 take away 5, which gives us the 4. Okay, again, hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at this one. So that's 3 to the power of 9 divided by 3 to the power of 7. And then you just subtract the 2, and that gives you that. So here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers. Now, if you would like some more practice, I've got a full worksheet on this over on my website. I'll link it down in the comments below. And if you did find this video useful, I've got loads of other content like this on my YouTube channel.